So welcome to Final Freddy's Security Breach. This is all endings, which requires the players to get all 6 endings that are in the game. And then inbounds, which basically no out of bounds tricks are allowed. So the first thing you'll notice is that turning voice volume all the way down, this will actually skip a lot of the dialogue sequences in the game. So you'll see like the subtitles go by like really fast. That's because of that. Coming up is our first movement strategy. It's called skip scopping. Basically, we stop sprinting in the air, and this continues our momentum until we do land. By doing this, this actually kind of helps deplete our stamina bar less. Kind of doubles it. So you'll see us doing this almost everywhere. We have a small little strategy here, or skip. With Freddy, we can actually clip on top of some railings. And this, we can go through that one, and there we go. Jump on a railing to another railing to jump down. Yeah, so here I'll talk about all the endings and their requirements. So there are 3 escape-like endings. With all of them, you'll need the Freddy's Eye upgrade in order to trigger those endings to activate. So there's the main entrance, which that's the only requirement. The second one is the fire counter, or the prize counter ending, and that requires the player to get 39 collectibles throughout the run. And then the loading dock ending requires security clearance level 6, so we need to collect 6 of the 8 security cards around the map. And then there's also 3 other additional ones that have different requirements. One is called Vanity Ending, which usually you'll have to look at Vanny's hideout in Phasma Blast in order to get the option to do that ending from the escape ending. And then there's the Princess Quest, which the Vanny will trigger a sequence to get inside Vanny's hideout. Princess Quest ending requires you to play the 3 Princess Quest arcade machines in order, which the third one also being in Vanny's hideout. Last but not least, Afton Ending is a boss fight that's like way downstairs from Roxy Raceway. Usually you need the Monty Claw upgrade and the Chica's voice box upgrade to get there with gates that block it without accessing those. Of course, we have ways around most of that. Here with Sheikah. Here we can jump on top of this pole, jump to this counter. We can collect this. So this is a Fizzy Fast upgrade, which basically kind of depletes our stamina less, so we can sprint for longer. Which basically just helps us overall movement. We can just sprint for longer. So we grab the Hippo Magnet. Guess here we're just on an entry ticket to the daycare pass, or to get something else, but we require the Hippo Magnets so we can basically magnetize it. We get the daycare pass instead, which brings us here to our first boss sequence. So here we'll actually go back into the slide, because there are two cutscene triggers that are in the ball pit. So we skip those by jumping on top of the slide. We can jump over the barrier. The second one actually triggers the flashlight spawn, and usually when we get the security card, barriers pop up to block Gregory from going outside. So there's a cutscene here. But the barriers actually stay up until you grab the flashlight. So even if you don't get a skip, you'll still have to eventually get it, because you won't be able to leave, because Gregory is too scared to go in the dark, basically. So in this first boss fight sequence, we get to turn on 5 generators to turn back on the lights while avoiding this guy. Daycare, but we have our boy Freddy now. here we say hello to our little friend Vanny. That is our main protagonist of the game. Is Vanny / Vanessa. So coming up is basically the biggest glitch of all of inbounds, or in this inbounds categories, and it's called the Freddy door clip. So when Freddy actually walks by any door, and if you do not have clearance to access it, he will open it. So we'll call Freddy, he'll run to the door, he'll open it, and we can actually climb inside of him, exit, and we can go right through the door. And here we'll grab the screwdriver early, because we would need it for one section. And so, and the same works basically the other way around. We can climb into Freddy from the other side. Also, get used to this song because it is played everywhere in this game. So here, usually a map bot will spawn, but we can just hug the left wall and just completely skip the jump scare with that. And here, a bunch of the tricks are from wedge jumps, which basically when a very specific set of angles that are acute angles, we can just multi-jump on top of those. And this will allow us to get on, on top of barriers, so we're able to get on top of the fence, and we can just totally skip the other fence blocking. Because a lot of this early atrium times will have certain sections blocked, because they're just trying to lead the player to go in the way the game intends you to go, so they don't get completely lost. So we just avoid that by doing a bunch of wedge jumps. But here we're going to take a little detour just to get a safety save for now. You'll see injured Freddy there, but he actually, it won't. Our Freddy is still there, so we have a double Freddy. I have never seen that before. Literally, Roxy spawned on me. I got caught by the security guard and Roxy spawned on me. Hey, good thing I saved. I did not take out Freddy. Okay. That was interesting. So you see a lot of times with the garage doors, they're harder to door clip out of, because whenever we're in like a certain semicircle around where it says like you need this much security clearance to get through, if you're within that semicircle when Freddy enters, the garage door will actually not open. So a lot of times you'll see like very interesting ways we have to call around that stuff. And when we do call Freddy, he does spawn behind us. So most of the time we'll be looking away from the spot where we want him to spawn. So this is the first Princess Quest arcade machine. It's not much fighting. All I do is like just run around, light some torches, avoiding the other guys. This is a common crash, or a very common crash thing. In the marathon setting, we can have a safety save set up after this arcade machine. So if it does crash, you don't have to spend countless times trying to go through it without a crash. So we can just basically continue on where we left off. And during these Princess Quest machines, you'll see a lot of references to previous Five Nights at Freddy's games. I'd say mainly in the third one. There's a place there's an area in the third one that's a complete area from, I think, Help Wanted? One of the earlier, or one before. I think it was either VR or Help Wanted at the Foxy Maze. So luckily we did not get a crash. But we did die to Roxy. So here we're going to have the shoe upgrade. And the shoes basically make us run faster, which is very helpful. Getting these as soon as possible in runs is the priority. Next, we're actually gonna go to Roxy Raceway. Here we'll actually go to our Afton Ending right away. Like, usually to enter this place, you'll need either the voice box upgrade or the claw upgrade, but by just there's a little opening there that lets us just go right underneath it. And we actually want to save here because there's an autosave down in the Afton Ending area that actually overwrites our save file. So if we did not save, or actually no. I just want to save there because there's an auto save here, so there's no way to get back up. That's what I meant to say. So with all the Monty gates, we can actually clip through Freddy, or get in Freddy by clipping through the middle. So that's the way we get around the call upgrade. But there's also a voice box gate. So calling Freddy in an area that you get access will sometimes make Freddy get all weird and just teleport everywhere, and we use that to our advantage to get Freddy to teleport by this in front of this voice box. This is probably one of the hardest tricks in the game to do. So a lot of times when you're getting in, he will teleport. Oh no, luckily we got it first try. Let's go. Yeah, so calling Freddy over there, when Freddy can't access an area that you currently are but being blocked, he will, like after some time, teleport again to try to access you. So when we teleport him to the other side of the voice box gate, there's only a very limited time we had to get inside before he'll teleport to the other side. And he can still teleport even if we're in the process of getting inside of him. So it is a fairly tight window each time we try. Here, I'm call Freddy. Meant to get in there. Here we have a spaghetti skip, which we can actually, I missed it, but we can clip on top of, we can basically keep going along the side railing and just jump instantly down here. I still only saves like a few seconds. Here's the start of the Afton boss fight. So, if you recognize him, Afton, or Springtrap, from Final Fantasy 3. I realized that whole area we were just in is the original Pizzaplex from the first game. So, this fight, while it's not the most interesting fight, it is completely RNG. So, Afton usually takes time to, or hits the computer to try to take control of Freddy, and we hit the buttons to stop that. We have to hit the button 8 times. It's completely RNG which one he'll go to. We want him to stay in the middle, because it takes 30 seconds in between each fire cycle. If he goes to the right or left one like you just did, it actually adds on time, because he has to walk, and that is not included in the 30 seconds. So him going to the left one loses about 29 seconds each time, the right one 25 seconds. So animatronics actually spawn during this fight sequence. Usually to lead, they usually go in a constant cycle between all 4 of them. Since we don't have Chica's voice box, Roxy will actually stay here forever, which would be annoying, so you actually use Freddy to block her. So yeah, so basically the rest of this fight is just RNG. So we just wait. Which, perfect RNG on whatever could be perfect is like half the time as the worst RNG, so it is a pretty decent sized time difference. Since this is kind of a new game, there hasn't been like proven what the quote unquote perfect RNG is, as there's, to my knowledge, no one has gotten on what hopeful perfect RNG is, which is having all 8 be in the middle. The best I've ever gotten, I've done this fight so many times, the best I've gotten were 5 out of the 8 stayed in the middle, with 2 going on to this computer and 1 going on this computer. I've heard people get 6. I haven't heard anyone get a 7 or 8. cycle. Which the first one is also guaranteed. The first one is also guaranteed. This is actually really bad RNG right now. 2 and 6. I guess Roxy got bored of us. Here comes Monty. That should be our last button. Wow. Once we get the cutscene, we can put out and load our save. That was actually really 2 and 8. I don't think I've ever had that bad of RNG before. The only reason we saved time because in my last run, it took me a while to get that voice box skipped, and I had really good RNG. So here, there's actually a bot below us that opens the garage door, but the hitbox that garage actually stays. So we just use that to jump over the fence. Gotta dance fast because we need to go to the West Arcade. Hello Shadow, thank you for the follow. How's it going today? But here we're gonna jump on top of these to get on the track, and we can actually trigger watch this cutscene early. Guff is a character. Oh, yeah. Guff is a character in Fortnite. That's more of a channel point thing when I'm streaming Fortnite. Because Guff is the character I wear inside that game. I don't need to stream that anymore. I don't know why I still have that, or just make it available when I actually stream it. Yeah, here we can get Roxy's eyes now. Right here. The amount of times I've stayed in that exact same spot I've never died is beyond me. That fight is always very weird because Roxy doesn't like doing this same strategy all the time. Let's try it again, shall we? Also, in a marathon setting, would save a lot more because of just weird instances that can happen, like what just happened. So, like, there's a save point right there. We would utilize like all of this as utilizing it versus having an accidental death would lose less time. Stuff like that. Roxy doesn't like to listen all the time. There we go. So I'll collect a couple more things while we're here. Here we'll actually get a... Okay, I don't know. A second Fizzy Faz. Usually 2 is the perfect amount with good skip stopping to get through all the areas without running out of stamina. Yeah, so this is one of the spots where we want to look this way, but sometimes he'll still spawn in Roxy Raceway. Unfortunately, it takes a very long time to get here, and he's blocked by the voice gates, so we have to wait even longer. Try to make him spawn on top of us. Like that, okay. Then that's how we can get out of Roxy Raceway without getting these gates. Howdy, Freddy. That was really bad movement I just had there. Here we're actually gonna go on top of this railing. We actually there's a collectible up here. Let's see having to go up the stairs. That's a lot. That happens a lot of times if you're too close to the door when he opens it. It'll just close right on there. Oh, Freddy behind us. Time for the spot to leave. Like this. What we do here is usually the Roxy green room elevator to go down to parts and services is the only one that's supposed to be active. But we can actually enter the other 3 elevators from the top, only the top. So actually we want to enter with the Monty green room because of collectible hunting. It would just be less Freddy door click we'll have to do. We can just weird enter button and we can use it. Save here. Here's where we do our we had this skip here called the circuit breaker. So when we actually put down Rusty's eyes, we can actually double click. And this will actually skip the second sequence for the buttons. This will start a night sequence that you're actually supposed to go to an ending. But like always, we have a way around it. So this is where one of the very helpful sequence breaks happen. That's actually like one of the very best ones. So actually, I'll collect this real quick. So over in the Chica's green room, there's a party pass. This party pass actually triggers another night cycle, which actually cancels out the current one. With all the other night cycles, you cancel the night cycle by getting back into a recharge machine. But the 550 one is actually when you're supposed to escape, so you can't do that with the 550 one. So this triggers the previous night cycle. So we can enter this, and now it's not night anymore. I did not mean to enter right away. Here's one of my favorite security card sequences, because usually there are 5 cameras and you're supposed to lead Freddy into the room below you. But we can just spam E and all of them will open when he gets there on any button. And actually, because voice volumes are off, this actually delays the spawns of the animatronics that are supposed to attack you while doing this. That's why we don't have to worry about the sides at all. Here, we will get them scared, so yeah, we haven't collected the map yet, but that's no big deal. So here is the second ending we'll do, called the escape ending. So right there actually autosaves immediately on your current save slot, or in the autosave. Here, it will load us right back at the ending. That again. put out, and we'll load back right back in the previous save, and we'll actually choose stay. We do this now because there is a second party pass we want to get, and this is just the fastest way to get the security cards that we need. So, since we did the Showtime security guard, this actually leaves Freddy in an injured state. So because of that, this actually leaves Freddy in. So we can't do Freddy door clips. And we have found ways to access areas we need to go next through other means. So we actually do not need Freddy as of right now, but there's a little way we get control back to Freddy. We'll see later. But here we'll do map busket again. The thing about 6 AM is that in the old patch, no saves are actually active at 6 AM. So we're doing a couple of no risky stuff now, but we'll have a way to regain the ability to, and that's done from secrets breaking the game. This is how we get into Monty Golf without needing a security card clearance. There are a couple of collectibles in the meantime. But here, a lot of walls in the game just have no collision, so we can just skip over the wall, and boom. But here we'll actually get one of the most useful items of the game, and that is the fast cam. Okay, so fast cam actually stuns the animatronics and security bots, so we can just run by a lot like that. Really helps with just movement overall. Actually, the garage doors here actually require a level 3 security clearance. while Faster Blast they are going next is level 4. So we just got our 3rd security card, so we were able to exit the doors just fine. That's why we do Faster Blast 4th. Actually, a little spot here we can actually wedge jump. Here we'll get another fast security guard check. So here you'll see a little something to actually leave Faster Rest. So that door actually locks behind us. So you can grab the Faster Blast, immediately discard it, and the escape and the way to exit will actually open. By doing this, we actually gain the ability to call Freddy. But unfortunately, he is still injured, so he won't actually come if we do call him. So here we have the bowling ticket, which we'll actually need to get into Bonnie bowling later. So up next is where a lot of some weird sequence breaks happen again. Because we don't have the ability to save, we have one other option, or two actually, but one is much slower. We have the Showtime disc, which we got from the backstage security card. And when you put in the Showtime disc in the sound booth, it actually changes the time to 2:45, and by changing the time from 6 AM, we actually gain the ability back to save again. This is helpful because when we do another ending, if we do another ending past 6 AM, our last save was 6 AM. There we go. So we want to avoid having to do a bunch of backtracking. Now we get the song blasting in the atrium, which is very nice. So right here is actually another trigger that lets us call Freddy from not being able to call Freddy. That's because for some reason this is a one-way trigger. Usually there are triggers that when you enter one place you can't call him, but when you exit that place you can call him. But because usually just grabbing the dance pass, he just can't enter the first time you're here. So because Actually, I'm gonna save here. We can go up to Princess Quest 2. That'd be. That fix there a little bit. Yeah, since we did not have the ability to gain him, it actually switches it. We do have it. Well, unfortunately, he is still injured. So that doesn't help much. But there's still another way around it. There's a lot of things that help in weird ways. So this is the second Princess Quest, which is by far the most annoying one. Mainly because these guys, they will actually shoot across rooms. So we'll go a little bit safer here and just kill most of them so we don't have to deal with it. So we don't have to deal with flying all over the place. Okay, you can see there that that's from the enemy that we left, the one enemy that we left alive. To do a fast way, just imagine that, but like 5 times that. So unlike the first one, we actually can fight enemies in this one, and there actually is not a problem with crashing in any of the other ones, so we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, by completing this, we actually uninjure Freddy. Which this, I really have no explanation on how this triggers Freddy to be uninjured, but it works, so we aren't complaining. So here's a little cool arcade drop. Just glitch jump on top of that and just go all the way downstairs. So here, there's something interesting about arcade machines to see later. But we want to save. We actually want to create a second save station, which you'll see why in about 2 minutes. So when you actually leave, actually first let me talk about no, because of we actually want to get to Vanity Bowling. Because we activate Showtime, there's a gate blocking this, so you can use the same escalator trick, which I just failed to get on top, and just to get past this gate. Yeah. So one thing to know about all the arcade machines that are in this game is when you complete them, they actually save. They overwrite the save file, while the rest do the auto save. This auto saves from your actual save file. Because Princess Quest 3 is right next to the Vanity button, we want to auto save from the Princess Quest 3 machine, so we don't have to do the early Vanity hideout skip again. Now we go Bonnie Bowling because if you've seen any speedruns from before, they usually go from Faster Blast where we were earlier. But because the autosave will actually not work if you do it from Faster Blast. I don't know what Click here, we're actually gonna call Freddy. He'll open the door. You see we actually have full access to Freddy now, which is very nice. We can do the same railing thing, get on top of these boxes, and we're right in Vanity's hideout. Especially want to enter, but I want to quit out immediately. This will trigger the autosave. Because when we complete the third one, it actually goes right to the cutscene, so the autosave actually never triggers when we do that. But because we quit arcade first, it'll actually set the autosave right there. So now we'll actually complete the third one. So these conveyor belts are very FPS based, which I meant to go up, not down. So with my FPS being kind of high, there's actually going around these conveyor belts are more difficult than they're intended to. So here we can actually trigger that, and then that, so it's there. So there's actually a very thin line there that we were able to go just above the conveyor belt. I just want to play a little bit safe with the extra harder here. So here you actually recognize this area. This is the Foxy Maze. I think it's help wanted. It could be VR. Once we open the door, we can actually quit out the arcade, because just saying the door counts it as complete. So we'll load back in, the cutscene will actually automatically trigger. Will still trigger. Cutscene, go back. We'll load up the second save slot we had. And this will put us right back with the autosave we just did. And boom, there's 2 endings right there. Now, because we have the autosave, the reason we made the second save, West Arcade, is so we can, instead of having to leave that area, we are right back where we were. West Arcade. Here's a probably a very near death situation we'll have with Vanny. Because during this Showtime sequence, there's a trigger where we need to go that will spawn Vanny. So right in front of here is a trigger, so we'll call Freddy right before the trigger. So you'll see Vanny will spawn right in front of us. We'll wait for go right there. You can actually do the door clip past these barriers. Now Vanny can jump on top. The reason we have to wait is because Vanny can actually jump on top of those fences and just kill us if we go any earlier. Here we will save again because the ending is right here. And here comes our 5th ending, so we have 39 collectibles now, and we can leave from this ending. So, load back our save. This where it's at. So because we have security level 4, we can actually grab this. There's a whole 3-minute cycle that goes with the security guard we're about to grab. So the game just has a little bit. But we can, the other way. Before it starts, we can run out the door. That lets us be able to skip the 3-minute cycle, but this does cause a lot of issues with the game. So now we're going up down to our last endings here soon. We have one more security card to get while we're down here. But because the superstar, because we left that actually kind of glitches out the security guard we want to do. It makes it not activate. Because the game can't have like two sequences going on at the same time. So for another unexplainable thing, if I just go into the door, that it cancels out the ability to do that, which was also very unexplainable. And so we can actually do the pizza bot. Because even though we got the security card, there is no inbound way to leave this area without doing this pizza bot for Chica. For the ending, we have our 6th security card, and we can leave through here. And boom. That is all endings inbounds